we have an exciting, I feel like we have an exciting show for you today. We're going to talk all about visual chat. So I actually have a guest here today. Her name is Athira Nair. She is one of our product managers. She has been fully engulfed in training plans, which I can't wait to hear more stories about people using training plans. Such a cool feature. She has done everything around visual chat, the feature you will see today. And she is working on another new feature. I'll just give you a little 411. Intelligent coaching is coming. So we have so much newness coming out. It's awesome. A client said to me the other day, said, wow, SimTrain's even video games don't bring out things this much. So I took that as a good compliment. So again, Athira is here. As I go through visual chat, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. And Athira will answer your questions if it's something that she's better equipped to answer. So please don't be shy if you have anything that you would like to ask. Thank you, Athira, for joining me. It's always good to get everyone knowing, and some of you might already know Athira. She's definitely done some demos on client calls. So thank you for joining me. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you what we've got here. So I'm trying to learn from what everybody has said that they want in these tips and tricks. And from what I understand and from what I know you all want to be in the platform. You want to see easy ways to create Sims. So I am listening, and that's what we're going to do. So I actually am going to go through the process of kind of creating a Sim, but then I've actually created a visual chat so that you can actually see it. And I also want to talk about different ways that you can use this feature that may not exactly be a chat simulation, a chat, simulation. So lots of cool things that you can do. And hopefully, as we go through all of this, it'll kind of spark your mind to saying, oh, that's cool. That's cool. This you can do. Because honestly, that's what happens to me when I get in here working with it. I do the same thing. I'm like, oh, that's a cool thing to do. So again, if you have questions, let me know. And from that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So as a sim creator, of course, I'm going to go here. The new visual chat is right here. And this is going to allow you to create a simulation that doesn't have its written text. It is a great way to allow learners to be able to use proper responses, good word choices, empathy, all of that in written word. I mean, some people, if you think about it, sometimes some people might kind of think it's easier to say what they want and respond in a verbal way, and it's harder to do it written, and vice versa. So this is a great option to have. And I will be honest with you, when I created the Sims for this session, I found myself as I was executing them thinking, gosh, it is a learned thing to be able to respond and navigate a screen at the same time, but respond in a written text. So definitely it's a great skill to be able to practice with. So I'm just going to put a test here because I'm going to just show you how I did this. The good thing is that once you name your Sim, have it on visual chat, you have these options. I do want to give a shout out here to AI Generate. If you have not gone into this feature and given some real description to this, please do. It is so fun to be able to kind of add what you want a script to say and how you want it to begin, what issues you want them to have, what you might want them to have anxiety. It's super fun. So please go ahead and try that if you haven't, but you have that option, and you also have an option to load a script. So when you load script, what I like about loading a script, and I'm just going to kind of drag this over here to show you, is I like when I do add a script, because obviously you know, writing out the script. But in a script, you can notate the keywords with the less than, dash, and then putting the keyword or phrase. That's what I like about being able to upload a script, because I can just do that. And oh goodness. And so anyway, hold on. Here we are. Okay, I'm back. So that's what I like about being able to upload a script. So I'm just gonna go down here to my scripts, and I'm gonna pick one, and I'm gonna upload it. The good thing about visual chat is it works exactly as if you were making a visual sim. There's no changes. You can have all the same options you have here. And as you can see, I uploaded my keywords and in here. So here it is with the visual chat. Again, this is a beginner. So I like to make with chat sims, I like to really truly make a beginner, intermediate, and an advanced. Because I feel like it's not about having the learner feel like they're a robot, but it's about allowing them to really learn the structure of what we want them to say. I kind of look at it like a map. If I was going somewhere for the first time, I would get there a lot easier, less anxiety if I had a map, right? So I feel like these script lines are like a map. And so in a beginner, I always tell them exactly what to write. And I'm going to show you how I did the intermediate and the advanced as well. But as you can see here, I give a little bit of a recap here. In the simulation, you will learn how to help a customer over chat, where you will do the necessary steps, step by step with the customer. It's a beginner sim, telling them exactly what they'll get. They are going to get every prompt of what to type. They are going to get every highlight in the visual sims, and they'll be able to navigate it and learn the structure of this process. So again, to add your visuals, you're going to do it exactly the same way as you did before. I've got it down here. So here. And then, of course, I am a firm believer of adding all of my visuals at the same time. And I do tend to, I like to make sure that my screen capture is clear. So I usually like to size them before I put them into SimTrain, just to make sure that I have a good screenshot with that. So all of this is the same. It is exactly as it was with a visual sim, except for this is a chat visual. So you would do the same processes. You know, again, it's going to bring up the screen. You have the option to add your hotspots. You have all of the same options with hotspots that you have before. What I like to do, and again, this is just maybe a tip for me, but what I like to do when I've uploaded all of my visuals, I like to add my script lines to all of my screenshots. It kind of gives me just the basis of my conversation, so that when I go to add my hotspots and my interactions with the screen, my coaching tips, I just know where I'm going with it. So a tip here, if you don't know this, so if I wanted to add all of the lines here, I don't have to click every one. I can just click the top one and the bottom one, and I can add them. And then I would go through every screen, and I would go ahead and I would add all of my hotspot, all of my script lines here. And then once I've done that, then I would add all of my interactions that I would want. You have in visual chat the option to add a coaching tip. And you will see when I show you what I've created that I actually added the coaching tips to the visuals. And in the beginner, I actually enabled the voice. And I like to kind of do it layered. So beginner has everything, scripting what to type, telling them exactly how to navigate, and intermediate, they will have a coach, more of a guidance of what they can type. And then in the visuals, they'll have, again, a tip, but no highlights and no voice. They have to read the coaching tip. And then in advanced, they don't get anything. And except for, I did in this advanced kind of in the coaching tip, I put explain next step. So they knew there was a step to do, but I didn't tell them what to do. So you really have a great deal of options here because you can make them however you want, however you feel is right for the situation that you are creating the sim for. So that's what I really like about it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go out of here and I'm going to bring you to the beginner sim that I created. And I'm just going to kind of show you how I did it. And then I'm going to run it for you and you can see it. It's about 2 minutes. I'm a firm believer of, making the simulations as short as possible because that's how people learn. Now I get it. Sometimes processes are longer. And sometimes you might have the ability to make them in parts because people really retain each level a little bit faster if it's a small snippet. Maybe you can't do that. I get it. Maybe in those cases where the process is too long, you can't really break it up. Maybe there are parts of that simulation that are just more difficult. Maybe you could break that apart so they could practice that over and over again, and be able to get a lot of more repetitions in it. But anyway, in this beginner, I'm just going to go into edit like I'm editing the sim. And as you can see how I've done it here, I did put some keywords in. Again, doing chat, you can really focus on empathy, using courtesy words like thank you, it'd be my pleasure, all of those things, really allowing them to know. In chat sims, I think it's really important, and I feel really hypocritical saying this because if you know me, you know I add a lot of words. And sometimes when I create sims, I find myself, oh gosh, I can delete half of these words. But I think in chat sims, it's important to be able to say the right thing in the quickest way possible, because no one wants to sit there and read this long, journal unless it's necessary. So I feel it's really important in chat sims that it's as courteous, as empathetic if needed. I always kind of think about these chat sims when I deal with the chat. When I call into a chat, what do I want? I want them to be there for me. I want them to respond as quickly as possible. I want them to be courteous and kind, and I want them to be able to express what I need as quickly as possible. So that's what I try to do when I create these. But the really cool thing about this is with the visual chat. So this is the scripting part. So when I go into here, the really cool thing about this is for each of these screens, I've added the coaching tips. And so you can go into here and I've sequenced them all out and added coaching tips here. But in the tips, I actually voiced them and it will speak to them as to what they need to do to navigate. So in this simulation, in this chat simulation, I'm actually teaching someone who chatted in wanting to know how to use quick parts in Outlook. I don't know if you guys use that, but it's a really cool feature. And I run into a lot of people who didn't even know it existed in Outlook. But that is what that is what this simulation is about. So with every single coaching tip I have here, it's scripted and it will speak. But I went through and I, just like you do in your normal sims, you go screen by screen, you add your interaction, you sequence it, and just go through each screen and do that. It works exactly like an audio sim. So with that being said, I want to go and execute this one for you, just so you can get a flair for it. So it's about 2 minutes. I'll talk a way through it. If anyone has any questions while I'm doing this, feel free to ask a question. So I'm going to go in here to this. All right, so here we go. So in the simulation, you can see that I can write here, and I'm giving myself the prompt of, how may I help you? Okay. Can you tell me how to use quick parts? And again, sure, I would be happy to show you. I also like to use, in the coaching tip, I like to use the keywords because,
In Outlook, click New Mail like you are sending an email.
okay, so it's telling me what to do.
First, I will show you how to store in Quick Parts. Then I will show you how to use what you have stored. Does that work for you?
All right, so I'm learning what I need to do for
Cut
this.
and paste what you want to store into the email you started. You will not send it. Now highlight that information.
To do.
Next, click Insert top left and then Quick Parts top right.
Right, so as I'm going through in the simulation, it's doing each part.
Now at the bottom of the box, click Save Selection in Gallery. Then a box will pop up and you will need to name what you are saving.
Right?
Type name here.
So now it's having me do once. Okay. All right, so showing me how to do it.
Now go click Quick Parts and you should see it there.
All right, so it's giving me all the navigation.
Now to send this to someone, all you need to do is start an email, put the cursor in the body of the email, click Insert, Quick Parts, and click the selection you want in the email.
Here, 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 and here. And there you go. As you can see, it's here. Here. Assist. All right, so there you go. And now it's kind of calculating just like it would for everything. So, you know, it definitely, having the coaching tips kind of talking to me, and then having to write it, it really makes me pay attention to what I'm doing, right? In there, even though it was a pretty short and simple simulation. So it does all of the same things, gives me my average handle time. It allows me to see what I said versus what was scripted, all of the same that you're used to seeing in simulations. I did have keywords. Of course, I missed a keyword there. And click score, I got almost all of those. And again, you have the option in the text fields to be able to put keyword scores there as well. So I'm just going to pause here for a minute and see if anyone has any questions. Okay, so I want to show you how I created the intermediate of this, because it's just a bit different with it. So I'm going to kind of go in here as I did before and show you this. So in the intermediate, what I like to do is, again, kind of tell them what to expect in this particular simulation. And it will give them tips as to what to determine what they need to type. So it's allowing them to formulate their own word choices and that, but remembering the structure of what they just did in the beginner. So again, I just add, I changed the tip to respond by typing and opening to the call. And you don't even have to give that much information. You can give as little as you want in there. Again, I don't have to change anything over here in this. I'm just kind of adding and changing this to respond by typing. You'd be happy to help them or to show them. And that's all I did there. So I'm just really just on the responses. I am just telling them what they could say, giving them that tip. And then as I proceed to the visuals, I change it a little bit in here. So in here, in the visuals, what I do is now that I'm doing this, I take out the highlights, so there's no highlights in where they need to click. And then the coaching tip is the same, but there's no sound. So I'm changing it slightly so that they're getting more involved in what they need to do in learning this process so that it just becomes something they know how to do. So like I said, I just went through each of these like I did before, and I just deleted the highlight and I took out the voice. And again, you may never put the voice in, so that's another step you don't have to do on there. You could really make it any way you want. And there you go. You have a good intermediate sim. A good tip here is, and you guys probably are well aware of this, but for those of you who may not be, it's getting that beginner sim exactly as you want it so that you can clone the intermediate and you have minimal changes you have to do. And then getting that one done, then cloning the intermediate, and then making your advanced. So that's how I do it, and really it's quick. So that's really the only changes that I have in here, where again, in this highlight, I don't have it highlighted. It's a button. I'm going to have to use that tip to be able to know where I need to click. So I like this because it's very progressive. With the visual element here, being able to add the tips here, I found it to be a good learning experience for me. I always kind of put myself in the seat of that learner. So this is the intermediate. And then for the advanced, I'm going to go in here to edit. As you can see, chat comes in. And there is no cues, they have to know it. But I did say up here, if this one feels too difficult, go back to the beginner and the intermediate and practice more. It's just about creating that muscle memory and being able to get there. Let's see. We have a question. Do we have to manually delete the highlight or the visual chat? Okay, so you do have the option of clicking to automatically delete the highlight. Yep, that's still there in your when you create this in. So you don't have to do that manually. And again, in the visuals here, I left the tip here. Now you could choose to remove it altogether, but I left the tip here and just changed it a little bit and just gave them, explained to them how do they get their info into the quick parts ready, right? I just changed it just a little bit just to make it. But again, you could do it anyway. And depending on the type, sometimes it's just explain next step so that they know that there's a step there. But yeah, they can go on from there. And again, none of these have highlights. And yes, you can click that button to get rid of the highlights for your advanced. So with that being said, I wanted to kind of go back here. I know we just have a few more minutes. All right, so I wanted to show you another one that I had created and to be able to show you how it doesn't really have to be the typical chat. You could teach people how to structure an email. Maybe there's particular types of emails that require a certain structure. And so I totally just made this up. But I acted like I worked at a store. I worked at a support center, and I got a chat from a person, a customer, and how I need to structure an email to a store. So what I did here is I just kind of wrote all my information. I added my hotspot here, and I'm actually going to preview the screen and just let you see what this looks like because there's only one screen, and this is what it will look like. In the sim, you'll practice the proper structure of the store. Click 2. And then it says for me to aim 1, 2, store. And then it says what I need to put in, there might be a certain structure. So main store number 1122 customer needs a callback. Okay. And then it tells me what to write in the main kind of body of it. It says I need to write then Mary Smith. 555-111-2222. The date. And customer left hat in store. Left hat in store. But I just wanted to kind of let you see that there is a lot of things you can use this for. It's not just for the typical chat. There's a lot of use cases for that. Let's see what questions we have. Oh, okay. You're welcome, Prachi. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I don't know if Anne has a survey. If she does, she can send that. I just kind of want to open it up here and ask if there's any questions about this. What do you think about this feature? Well, I hope that everyone will go in there and really create a visual chat sim and really see how it can help you as you develop content for your learners. Yes?
So I don't have a question about this particular process, but you had your script upload with your keywords already identified. How did you do that?
Yes, so you can, when you go into SimTrain and create a new sim, there is an example here. So right here, this sample script. Okay, so if you have your script and you write it out, agent, customer, and you have keywords or phrases that you want as keywords, you just note them with the less than, dash, greater than. You see it right here, how that's done. And you can do words or phrases, but if you just note those words or phrases that way in the script and you upload it, they will automatically go in. And that's my favorite part about uploading a script, because then it's done and then I can add my alternative words so that it gives more flexibility to certain the way words are said, like, you know, help or assist. Thank you. That answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you. And there's no spaces in any of that. It's
Correct.
one solid block. Okay.
And if this were if this was going to be a phrase, include the question mark in there as well. And so if you have punctuation in, include it with the word in the kind of the notations. Yep. That's how it works. Anything else? Okay, well, thank you guys so much for joining me. It is a pleasure to show you this feature. Thank you, Athera, for being kind of the being so great with the product management and making such a great product here. And like with anything at SimTrain, we are always here to hear your feedback to make things better for you. So please let us know. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you soon.